Thank you. Well, the Allied Arts Council is responsible for many cultural events that take place in St. Joseph, and our special guest for tonight's community conversation, Teresa Fankhauser, the Executive Director of the Allied Arts Council. Welcome, Teresa. Glad you're here.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Well, it's always a pleasure to talk about the arts in St. Joe. And why don't you start by telling us kind of the groups that partner together to make up the Allied Arts Council?
Sure. Well, the Allied Arts Council, we're a member organization, and what that means is that we're kind of the umbrella organization. And we are just there to support and serve our member agencies as well as our community. So our organizations, we have a total of 14 and they're varied. We have a Ruby Resident Theater, St. Joseph Symphony, Performing Arts Association, Creative Arts Production, Albrecht Kemper Museum, River Song, AGO, American Guild of Organists, and the St. Joseph Skating Club.
Wow. So
is included
it's a
in
wide
that.
range of artists and performers and all that.
Exactly.
Well, what drew you to what has drawn you over the year to the arts, and describe your role as the executive director?
Well, how much time do we have? No. Well, I grew up in the arts. My grandmother played piano and taught piano as well, and voice lessons. We were involved in dance. I was on the Missouri stage at the age of 3. So it's been a part of my life, and I've been very blessed to be able to work in the arts as an adult. I never thought I'd be an administrator, but I can serve so much more that way. And I enjoy it. And so I was with Performing Arts Association for a few years, and then moved over to the Allied Arts Council when that opportunity presented itself. And it's fun because we get to work and collaborate with all of the different agencies and find ways that we can help promote the arts, and even those that are not necessarily our member agencies. So for example, I've heard there are these 3 guys who are going to be performing soon. And we want to promote that too. We want to, we do our email marketing, and we do a quarterly newsletter. And so anytime somebody has I'm going to talk here. Anytime somebody has an arts event, and art, we are very open about what art is. It doesn't have to necessarily be classical. We promote what's happening at the park. So if you have an arts event, a lot of churches will post. We have a calendar of events for arts. They can put it on. They send us the information, and then we help get it out to our community through emails and social media.
That's great. Now, these partner groups are also, I'm sure, consistently engaged in fundraising events. I know there's some big ones coming up this summer. You want to talk about any of those?
Absolutely. Well, every spring the Allied Arts Council holds the Arts Fund campaign, and we raise money for a total of 7 organizations. They apply for grants, so that way that we have a citizens committee that evaluates and determines how that money should be divided up. And so that makes sure that it's responsibly allocated. And in addition, yes, we all have to do fundraisers. And so there are a variety of them. I can't name those all off the top of my head right now. But I can tell you the Allied Arts Council is actually doing a project in October. And it's called the Winding River Art Fest, and that's WINEDING. So winding.
Wine is involved.
Wine is involved. And so we're really excited about that because it gives our visual artists an opportunity to come out and have a booth to sell their art. We also will have some performing artists there as well, and hopefully wine vendors. And at this time, we're still looking for wine vendors and artists. So if they're interested, they can contact the Allied Arts Council.
Very nice. And I assume then, final question would, what are some ways that the community can get more involved in the arts, and how through you guys can they connect better with the arts in the area?
Yeah, so obviously attend the shows. That's the #1 thing that you can do to support the arts, is to attend the events that are being offered. There's so many great things, and if we had an hour, I could tell you all about them. But if you like movies, go to the Ruby Resident Theater shows. Those things are incredible. If you listen to classical music, go to the symphony. If you haven't listened to classical music, go to the symphony. It's an art form that is so important, and we must sustain it. If you like to see, artists and tribute shows and actual artists from the 70s and 80s, Performing Arts Association, there are so many things. If you have children, Creative Arts Production puts on a wonderful workshop, and in fact, I have to plug that. Wizard of Oz is this weekend at the Missouri Theater. Yeah, it's on Saturday. It's a Saturday evening and a Sunday matinee show. Take your kids. It's a great show. I sat in on some of the rehearsals this week, and I'm very impressed.
Very nice. Well, a lot going on. They can contact you through the website there, the Allied Arts Council.
stjoarts.org.
stjoarts.org. Teresa Fankhauser, it has been a pleasure talking with you. I know there's a lot going on in the arts community, and we are so glad for what you do.